The world is in a state of chaos. And if you're a business owner, you're worried about how is this going to impact my business? How is this going to impact the staff and the families that my staff supports and even your own family? What I want to do is I want to slow us down for a moment. I want to put in 3 strategies that can protect your business for the second, third, and fourth quarter. And so while the world is being chaotic, you yourself can be strategic. You can apply your wisdom. You can apply your proactive measures and ensure that this can still be, absolutely has the possibility to still be one of the most successful years for your business. So let's get to work. My name is Tiffany Haynes with TiffanyHaynesCo.com, bringing you tips and information to making your office more efficient. So if you're new here, please subscribe as I support you all on your entrepreneurial journey. So if you're watching this, we are right smack dab in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. And I really wanted to take some time and spend it with my entrepreneurs, spend it with my business owners whose main concern and their wheels are spinning on what do I do now? How do I prepare my business? How do I put in some preventative measures? And I really had to think about this and strategize about this because I myself wanted to do it to protect my companies, to protect my staff. They go home to families that they support. And I wanted to make sure that I could prevent as much as I possibly could any backlash that they might get. So let's jump right into it. Get your pen and your paper. As you always know, I have a free download with most of my videos. And so that has not changed with this one. I have a free download for you that I want you to download. Follow along, fill it out as it pertains to your business. If you have multiple businesses, you may want to fill it out for more than one so that you can do as much as humanly possible, right? There are some things that we can't control. There are some things that we just don't know. The severity of what it's going to do, how long some of these closures are going to last. We can't control all of that. But for what we can control, that's what we're going to focus on today. So let's get started. 3 tips I'm giving you today. 3 tips. Stay with me till the end because the last tip is really some of my best stuff. I'm excited to do this myself as I execute this with you this week. So tip number 1 is we're going to be thinking 3 steps ahead. 3 steps ahead. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask one simple question. I want you to put your business and your clientele in your mind. I want you to think about how this pandemic is going to impact them. Do not think about yourself. Do not think about your company. Do not think about your friends and family. I want you to think about the people that actually pay you money. Okay? How is this pandemic going to impact them? And here's the question you want to ask. How can you solve the problem for your clientele that this pandemic may create in their lives? How can you solve the problem for your clientele that this pandemic may create in their lives? And I want you to really take the time to really process that because you'll have to run different scenarios. Okay, if it goes on for 2 months, let's say there's closures for 2 months, things kick back up. How does that impact your clientele? How does that impact their business and their means of being able to pay you? And then what problem does that create for them and how can you solve it? How can you solve it? And once you realize what that problem is, once you realize how you can solve it, I want you to create the anecdote now, right? I want you to take the time and strategize, get with your team during this downtime, get on Zoom, get some video conferences going, and I want you to create the anecdote, and I want you to prepare for it to be launched when the timing is right. So it should already have been created, documented, tested, and ready for launch when the timing is right. Because I believe that in most businesses, what they're going to do is they're going to wait. They're going to see how it impacts their clientele. They're then going to figure out how they can solve that problem. And then they're going to react. What I want you to do, anyone watching this, I want you to be proactive. I want you to be proactive and create something that no matter what is going to improve your business. Create something that no matter what can be an incredible tool that can help your clientele no matter what the outcome may be. But I want it to be proactive. I want it to be thought out and I want it to be fleshed out now, right? Test it now. Think about the downfalls or the hiccups that you could have when implementing it now. And when it's time to launch it, I want you to launch it Be sensitive to the timing. Be sensitive to when the preparation and the timing meets for the perfect opportunity. But when it comes, while everyone else is scrambling, I want you to launch. When everyone else is getting their team together to figure out what to do, I want yours to have been up for a week already, and you're already getting the attention that your competition missed out on. So that's tip number one. 3 steps ahead, right? We know where we are now. We know that it's going to create a problem, but we know that we already have the way to solve it, and we want to have that antidote ready. So 3 steps ahead is tip number 1. Tip number 2, no ideas left behind. No ideas left behind. As an entrepreneur and business owner, we are so guilty of this. It probably drives yourself crazy. If you're in a relationship or married, your spouse crazy, your team crazy, is we're constantly coming up with ideas. We're constantly coming up with different things that we want to try. But because we have the influx of our clientele now, we have, our responsibilities and demands in the moment, we can't always execute them. What I want you to do is if you have a place where you write all your ideas, I want you to review them now. If you don't, I want you to take the ideas that you've probably thought of in the past 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years, the ones that you know are great. They won't let you go. That's how you know it's a good idea. It keeps coming up. You're almost fearful somebody is going to execute the idea before you can get it out. I want you to write those ideas down, and I want you to pick one. Okay, entrepreneurs, okay, my business owners, I know this is hard, but I want you to pick one of those ideas. And during this downtime, while everybody is kind of catching up on their Netflix shows, watching Hulu, I want you to pick one of those ideas, and I want you to execute it. Execute it. Design the steps to get it done in a way where it can be done between 2 weeks and 30 days. And when the 30-day closure is up, when schools are back open and the hustle and bustle is resumed, I want you to have your plan completely fleshed out and executed on. This is different from the problem we're going to create and solve, because these are the ideas that are embedded in us that have been laid dormant. We're going to activate them. We're going to make them alive, and we're going to have them ready on our website as a part of our services. If it's an improvement that you've always wanted to do, I want it to be implemented into your processes within 30 days. Okay, that's the goal. No idea is left behind. For the rest of those great ideas, they will have to be documented in a way where when the timing is right, you can grab those as well. But for the purposes of efficiency, so that we can perfect it and it's not a mess and in shambles and going to hurt you more than help you, I want you to pick one and execute it. All right. So here's the 3rd strategy. Make good great. Make good great. All right. So we all know the book by Jim Collins. A lot of business owners have read it. But what I really want us to do is to really take that as a tool and as a strategy that we're going to be doing in this downtime. So for the purposes of how I want to explain this strategy, I want to explain good to you. And when I explain good, just by the definition of the word, I want you to think about what processes do I have that would fall under this category? What systems do I have that would fall under this category? Maybe it's the first interaction that a client gets when they contact your company, or maybe it's after the fact when you're doing your follow-up process. Maybe it's during the thick of it. As things go, you're doing good, but you're not doing great. So here's the definition of good, so no one is confused. Having the qualities required for a particular role. Having the qualities required for a particular role. All that means is there's something that they want and you're giving it to them. You're giving them the bare minimum, right? It's not bad, but you're not doing anything that's over the top. You're not improving upon something because it's good. You never pay attention to it. It's kind of neutral. You know that it's being accomplished. There's a task that has to be done, and you've marked off that task. That fulfills the definition of good, right? There's a role and you do what's required for that role. But here's what great's going to do. Of an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal or average. Great is of an extent, amount, or intensity considerably above the normal or average. Above the normal or average. Above the normal or average. I want us to focus on that. Every single process in your business, if it is not above the normal or average, give it your attention during this time. How can I improve upon it? What have I settled on? What was like a process? It was such a mess that once you fixed it and it was good, you're like, I'm not messing with that. I'm so glad it's working now that I don't want to mess with it. No, we want to look at any process that's good and how can we make it above normal or average. Separate yourself from the competition during this time. Separate yourself. That means there's no blur lines. There's no gray area. It's my competition and it's me, and there's a clear difference. It's a clear difference in how I do things. I do it with better integrity. I do it with a better quality. I do it with a higher skill. I do it with increased expertise. Separate yourself during this time. And what I want from you, what I want from all of my entrepreneurs that are watching this is for you to go back. So when it's 6 months from now, you to go back and realize that this became an incubator type of time frame for you, where you were literally just in the grind of it, in the thick of it all, and you improved your business. You birthed these ideas that have been laid dormant, and you changed the trajectory of your business because of this time frame. While this has been a pandemic for the world, I want it to be miracle territory for you. And so that is my goal. I want to end it with this because I thought this was cool. The average person is going to increase their screen time during this time significantly. Their screen time will be increased. The average person will be consumed with the news and the media. The average person will sit around and wait to see how this impacts their business. Do not be average. If you don't get anything out of this, just as a totality and a theme, when I thought of this and why I wanted to hurry up and get this out to you is do not be average. Take this opportunity to do something great. So thank you again for watching. If this was valuable to you, please give us a thumbs up. And I can't wait to see what you create. Please drop in the comments some of the creative things that came out of watching this, some of the strategies you're going to implement, and I'll see you next time.